Good morning, fourth grade. It is 4B co-teacher Mr. Romano from Syracuse Academy of Science and Citizenship. Happy Tuesday. We are going to start Chapter 4, Part 2 today, right? So when we last left off, Harry had met Hagrid, Rubius Hagrid, who is the keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts, right? A school of witchcraft and wizardry. And Harry has just found out that not only he's 11 years old, but he is the son, right, of two very famous wizards and witches. Let's continue. Dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you've been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Please find includes a list of all necessary books and equipment. Term begins on September 1st. We await your owl by no later than July 31st. Yours sincerely, Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress. Questions exploded inside Harry's head like fireworks, and he couldn't decide which to ask first. After a few minutes, he stammered, "What does it mean, they await my owl?" "Galloping Gorgons, that reminds me," said Hagrid, clapping a hand to his forehead with enough force to knock over a cart horse, and from yet another pocket inside his overcoat, he pulled an owl, a real live, rather ruffled-looking owl, a long quill, and a roll of parchment. With his tongue between his teeth, he scribbled a note that Harry could read upside down. Dear Professor Dumbledore, given Harry his letter, taking him to buy his things tomorrow. Weather's horrible, hope you're well, Hagrid. Hagrid rolled up the note, gave it to the owl, which clamped it in its beak, went to the door, and threw the owl out into the storm. Then he came back and sat down as though this was as normal as talking on the telephone. Harry realized his mouth was open and closed it quickly. Where was I? Said Hagrid. But at the moment, Uncle Vernon, still ashen-faced but looking very angry, moved into the firelight. He's not going, Hagrid grunted. I'd like to see a great muggle like you stop him, he said. A what? Said Harry, interested. A muggle. It's what we call non-magic folk like them. And it's your bad luck you grew up in a family of the biggest muggles I've ever laid eyes on. We swore when we took him in, we'd put a stop to that rubbish, said Uncle Vernon. Swore we stomp it out of him. Wizard indeed. You knew, said Harry. You knew I'm a wizard? Knew, shrieked Aunt Petunia. Knew? Of course we knew. How could you not be? My dratted sister being what she was. Oh, she got a letter just like that and disappeared off to that school and came home every vacation with her pockets full of frog spawn, turning teacups into rats. I was the only one who saw her for what she was, a freak. But for my mother and father, oh no, it was Lily this and Lily that. They were proud of having a witch in the family. She stopped to draw a deep breath and then went ranting on. It seemed as though she had been wanting to say this for all these years. Then she met that Potter at school, and they left and got married and had you. And of course, I knew you'd be just the same, just as strange, just as normal, and then, if you please, she went and got herself blown up, and we got landed with you. Harry had gone very white. As soon as he found his voice, he said, Blown up? You told me they died in a car crash. Car crash? Roared Hagrid, jumping up so angrily that the Dursleys scuttled back to their corner. How could a car crash kill Lily and James Potter? It's an outrage, a scandal. Harry Potter not knowing his own story when every kid in our world knows his name? But why? What happened? Harry asked urgently. The anger faded from Hagrid's face. He looked anxious. I never expected this, he said in a low, worried voice. I had no idea. When Dumbledore told me there might be trouble getting a hold of you, how much you didn't know. Harry, I don't know if I'm the right person to tell you, but someone's gotta. You can't go off to Hogwarts not knowing. He threw a dirty look at the Dursleys. Well, it's best you know as much as I can tell you. Mind, I can't tell you everything. It's a great mystery, parts of it. He sat down, stared into the fire for a few seconds, and then said, It begins, I suppose, with a person called... It's incredible you don't know his name. Everyone in our world knows. Who? Well, I don't like saying the name if I can help it. No one does. Why not? Gulping gargoyles. Harry, people are still scared. Blimey, this is difficult. See, there was this wizard who went bad. As bad as you can go. Worse and worse. His name was... Hagrid gulped, but no words came out. Could you write it down? Nah, I can't spell it. All right, Voldemort. Hagrid shuddered. Don't make me say it again. Anyway, this wizard, about 20 years ago now, started looking for followers. Got him, too. Some were afraid. Some just wanted a bit of his power because he was getting himself power all right. Dark days, Harry. Didn't know who to trust. Didn't dare get friendly with strange wizards or witches. Terrible things happened. He was taken over. Of course, someone stood up and killed him. Horribly, one of the only safe places left was Hogwarts. Reckon Dumbledore's the only one you know who was afraid of. Didn't dare try taking to school. Not then, anyway. Now, your mom and dad were as good as a witch and wizard as I've ever known. Head boy and girl at Hogwarts in their day. Suppose the mystery is why you know who never tried to get them on his side before. Probably knew they were too close to Dumbledore to want anything to do with the dark side. Maybe he thought he could persuade them. Maybe he just wanted them out of his way. All anyone knows is he turned up in the village where you were all living on Halloween 10 years ago. You were just a year old. He came to your house. Hagrid suddenly pulled out a very dirty spotted handkerchief and blew his nose with a sound like a foghorn. Sorry, but it's that sad. No, now your mom and dad, nice people, couldn't find any way. You know who killed him. And then this real mystery of a thing, he tried to kill you too. Wanted to make a clean job of it. Or maybe he just liked killing by then. But he couldn't do it. Never wondered how you got that mark on your forehead. That was no ordinary cut. That was what you got from a powerful evil curse touches you. Took care of your mom and dad and your house, but didn't work on you. And that's why you're famous, Harry. No one ever lived after he decided to kill them. No one except you. He killed some of the best witches and wizards of age. The McKinnons, the Bones, the Pruitts, and you were only a baby and you lived. Something very painful was going on in Harry's mind. As Hagrid's story came to a close, he saw again the blinding flash of green light more clearly than he had ever remembered before, and he remembered something else. For the first time in his life, a high, cold, cruel laugh. Hagrid was watching him sadly. Took you from the ruined house myself on Dumbledore's orders. Brought you here to this lot. Load of old tosh, said Uncle Vernon. Harry jumped. He had almost forgotten that the Dursleys were there. Uncle Vernon certainly seemed to have gotten back his courage. He was glaring at Hagrid, and his fists were clenched. Now you listen here, boy. I accept there's some things strange about you. Probably nothing a good beating wouldn't have cured. And as for all this about your parents, well, they were weirdos. No denying it. And the world's better off without them, in my opinion. As for all they got, getting mixed up with these wizarding types. Just what I expected. Always knew they'd come out to the sticky end. But at that moment, Hagrid leapt from the sofa and drew a battered pink umbrella from inside his coat. Pointing it at Uncle Vernon like a sword, he said, I'm warning you, Dursley. I'm warning you. One more word. In danger of being speared on the end of an umbrella by a bearded giant, Uncle Vernon's courage failed again. He flattened himself against the wall and fell silent. That's better. Breathing heavily and sitting back down on the sofa, which this time sagged right down to the floor. Harry, meanwhile, still had questions to ask. Hundreds of them. But what happened to you know who? Good question, Harry. Disappeared, vanished. Same night he tried to kill you. Makes you even more famous. That's the biggest mystery. See, he was getting more and more powerful. Why'd he go? Some say he died. Godswap, in my opinion. Don't know if he had enough human left in him to die. Some say he's still out there. Biding his time, but I don't believe it. People who was on his side came back to ours. Some of them kind of came out of the trances. Don't reckon they could have done if he was coming back. Most of us reckon he's still out there somewhere, but lost his powers. Too weak to carry on. Because something about you finished him, Harry. There was something going on that night he hadn't counted on. I don't know what it was, but no one does. Something about you stumped him, all right? So that's a good place to stop. So we just learned the true history about Harry's parents and how and why they were killed. We also met our main villain, our antagonist, Voldemort, but he's been missing for the last 11 years, right? So we don't know where he is. He was unable to kill Harry after killing his parents. And tomorrow we are going to finish chapter 4, and we'll see if Harry leaves the Dursleys and goes to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I love and miss you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.